Jim Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of Sirius XM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is The Jim Norton Show.
Yes, indeed. Another edition here of the Jim Norton advice, people call up and give their advice, kind of clusterfuck of a show. I'm leaving right after this. I fly to Columbus tonight because I'm doing some morning radio. I didn't realize Opie was out tomorrow too, so I'm glad I'm technically not missing radio or missing a day of our show. I'm going out tonight, and I have the gig at the Capitol Theater tomorrow and the Gathering of the Juggalos on Friday. Now, I'm not overconfident when I do gigs, ever. But it's funny how, that's what the Opie and Anthony fans have prepared me for. I'm comfortable knowing that I'm going to do the Gathering of the Juggalos. Like, you should be uncomfortable if you're a comedian going to do that gig, and I can't wait. So, it was great the last time I did it. I'm hoping it's great this time. And, a bunch of stuff coming up. And, it looks like I'm going to be shooting something soon. And I know I'm starting off just yapping about myself. But, I turned 48 yesterday. And, a lot of guys, get to midlife or whatever the fuck I'm in. Who knows? I could be dead tomorrow. And they start buying, sports cars and things like that. I mean, I've always enjoyed fucking young girls. Who doesn't? And by young, I mean, 20, 25, not 15. But, you start to wonder, like, all right, what am I doing in my life? There's a lot of guys I know doing better than I am. There's a lot of guys I know doing worse than I am. So maybe a relationship. I think that's what your friend Jim Norton needs. A relationship. Interesting discussions today on the radio show. You call up with anything you want. We already had people call up. The Leslie Jones debacle on Twitter. Milos Yiannopoulos. I'm probably saying his last name wrong. Or is it Milos? I mean, I know who the guy is. I don't think I've ever heard his name said. I just have read it as Nero online or read it as Milos. So, call up and talk about whatever you like. It's been an interesting day. All right. Ooh, I'm about to burp. Hello, Jim in Wyoming. Welcome to the Jim Norton program.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Well, you're a doll. It actually applies now. Thank you.
This is kind of, I don't know. I broke my back last year, and I'm an addict. Had bad alcohol problems. Anyhow, I refused pain pills. And worst thing I ever went through in my life, just awful pain. Anyhow, they tried this drug on me, and they use it for diabetes, fibromyalgia, herpes, you name it. This drug's supposed to help you. It's called gabapentin or Neurontin. Anyhow, it does nothing for me. Doesn't do anything. So I quit taking it about 2 months ago. And third weekend, I'm curled up in a little ball, just crying, shaking, feel like I got things crawling in me. It's the worst of the worst. Anyhow, it's just more of a warning. A bunch of fat-ass truck drivers that take it for their diabetes, and just watch out for it because it's awful. And now I'm they're stepping me down off of it, even though he claimed it would never be a problem. And it's the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. And anyhow, it's just a warning. It's called gabapentin. It's terrible.
I've never heard of it. To be honest with you, I've never heard of it. But if that's your experience with it, I don't know what they say what it's good for, what it's not good for. But, it's like any other drug, man. When you're coming off something, your body screams for it, especially if you're like we are, if you're an addictive person. Like, I've told the story, like, when I quit smoking, Like, I was crying all the time. Like, just because your body is being starved of this mood relaxer, of this thing it was always getting. I imagine when I quit coffee, I'll be a real twat, too. I'm not looking forward to that day. And neither should anybody who knows me, who has to be around me. You know, but hey, that's good you're off it, though, man. I mean, you went through the shitty time, and now you're off it, so good for you.
Well, yeah, but I'm not off of it. I'm stepping down.
Oh, you are being weaned off it. Okay.
Yeah, and they like I said, I told the doctor when all this, you know, he assured me, and I just believed him. I didn't read about it until after the fact, and it's really bad. And the shittiest thing, I don't get anything out of it. You don't feel anything.
Sure. Well, doctors don't always know. They think they do, but they don't always understand addiction as they think they do. I got to run, buddy, because I got a full bunch of phone calls. But I think doctors mean well and sometimes don't understand the addictive mind as much as they think.
So, okay, thank you.
All right, be good, Jim. Thanks for calling. Let's see here. Joe in Milwaukee saying we missed the message. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, when Chris Christie spoke, I don't know if you guys, any of you, heard his entire speech.
No, I did not. So
but
we probably did take it out of context.
I listened to it last night, and there was people in the crowd chanting, "Lock her up, lock her up." And he said, "We're working on it." And what I took from that is, because he made that speech, I think Donald Trump is going to make him the U.S. Attorney General, and then he's going to go into it and lock her up. So she's actually fighting for her freedom. If she loses this election, she's going to prison.
Let me tell you something. Hillary Clinton will never be locked up in jail for those stupid emails. He's saying we're working on it. I'm telling you.
No. Okay, let me bring up something else.
I'm not saying that she's right, but I'm saying she's never going to. The ex-First Lady, Secretary of State, is not going to jail for those stupid emails. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but maybe you missed it. She was in front of Congress. Remember the 13-hour Benghazi hearing?
I do not.
Okay, now, when the guy from the FBI was testifying in front of Congress 2 days after he said she's not going to jail,
okay,
one of the congressmen said, "What is the charge for lying under oath?" And when she was in front of Congress for the Benghazi hearings for 13 hours, she was under oath. And she lied under oath 3 times.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It's just like her husband when they said, "Did you do anything?" and he lied under oath, saying that he hadn't been sexual or whatever.
Right.
Did he go to jail? No.
The point is, the congressman asked the FBI guy, "Did somebody suggest that you look into that?" And the FBI guy goes, no, I haven't gotten any suggestions about that. And yeah, congressman says, "Well, you will in about an hour."
All right.
So, I just wanted to bring you up to speed.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe. But I just remember this discussion. She's not going to jail. I'm not saying that what's right or wrong.
I'll bet you $1,000.
Okay. We didn't shake it. Let's bet a kiss. How's that? We both win that way. All right. Thanks, Joe. Right. Let's see. Sean in New Jersey has a question. Hi, Joe.
Jimmy, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. So I was watching Power the other day, and I almost shit a brick when I seen you. I got a few questions for you. Number one, why didn't you speak like Uncle Paul?
Well, I have in a real acting job on a real show, you can't do that. And, I have a few episodes that I'm in. I'm not just in that one episode.
All right, you answered my next question. Okay. And then the last one for you was, how the hell did you get that gig?
It was basically an audition. And that was not the scene I auditioned with. I auditioned for another scene. It was like a longer scene. And the guy liked how I just kind of was very casual about it and relaxed about it and didn't try to act too over the top priestly. Just, you know what I mean? It was like, you have to have a certain demeanor, but I guess they just liked the audition.
Well, it was too quick. You were awesome. I hope to see more of you, brother.
How long was our scene? I mean, I don't know what they showed and what they didn't show. He comes in. Did they show him sitting there eating a sandwich, telling me what he's going to do?
Yeah, that was and then they showed that scene. It was probably like a 45-second scene. Then they cut away. They came back after Tommy was making the deals with all the guys, like with all the with the Chinese guys and the other guys, and they just showed, the last thing they showed was you guys just shaking hands on whatever deal you guys wind up making.
All right. Do I talk to him at all?
Real briefly. You didn't say much.
It was a very short scene. It was a very, very short scene. All right, well, good. I'm glad they left some of it in. That's all that matters. Thanks, man.
No problem, brother.
Be good. Let's see here. Sean in Boston. Another Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
All right, well, first of all, this is some real pussy shit in comparison to the, former drug addict back break problem that I heard a few minutes ago. But basically, I'm an aspiring comic, and I just graduated college, and I just tried to get like a job, just like a normal ass job, just to kind of fuel the dream over time. And I worked my ass off for like 1 week, and then I just got like canned via email out of nowhere. So I've been kind of like wallowing in my room with like beer and masturbation. So like,
sure.
what can I do to kind of motivate myself to, get over this weird kind of malaise? And I know this is a very like, fucking white person problem or whatever.
No, it's not just a white person problem. That's a lot of people have that where something goes wrong and we get a little depressed or we're unsure of what to do. So we just kind of languish where we were because that's safer than stepping out, or it's more comfortable, or we get a little bit addicted to it for a couple of weeks or however long. So to me, the best way to break those shitty patterns, which I fall into all the time, is literally just to do something differently. Like, even though I will not want to, there's times where I make myself leave the house and just go for some lunch or do other stuff just to get out so I'm not jacking off online. And how do you get motivation? Realize that, sometimes these like little depressions last for a little while, but think like, what is it you want to do? You're an aspiring comic, so are you going out there and doing sets?
Yeah, of course.
How often?
They're in like pizza, like a couple times a week, but it probably should be every day, and they're in like piece of shit basements and stuff like that. But yeah,
they're all pieces of shit in the beginning.
Matter, though. I know that doesn't matter at this point.
you should be out to motivate yourself. Be out. Look at this as a positive. You do got to find another job, but while you're looking, go out and do stand up every night. That's one way to do it. Take the action of doing stand up every night.
Yeah. No, I will. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, don't let that get
time to get out of the room.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't let that get to you. We all have those things. We get fired. I was 5 years sober and doing stand-up the first time I ever got fired from a job. It's okay. It happens.
Yeah. I know. It's such a bitch, though, because I was kind of like, I'm going to save up this money. I'm going to go to New York. Like, finally I got a plan. And like, nope.
That's okay. That does happen. But, look, life's what happens when we're making other plans, as John Lennon said, but he signed that album for Chapman. All right. Thank you very much for the call.
Hey,
good luck,
Jim.
buddy.
Have a good one.
Good luck with the gig, Sean. Thanks. Let's see here. Jay in Baltimore. Hi, Jay.
Me?
Hello.
Hey, yeah, I've been married 13 years, man. Whenever I try getting busy with my wife, she just lays there like a slug, man. Doesn't move, doesn't do shit.
Throw salt on her. So what's happened? Has she always been like that?
No, not at all. So we got a daughter. Had her for a while, but seems like after the kid, she's not too into it anymore. The biggest thing is like I'll try to get it going, rubbing on her clit, whatever. She won't even touch me, man.
Do you eat her pussy?
Oh yeah.
Did you ask her about this?
Yeah, I asked her, and she's like, I'm just that's just kind of the way I am.
But she wasn't like that before.
Yeah, when we were, before the kid and all that, it was pretty good. She'd blow me, she'd give me handies, you name it. Now it's just kind of dried up, man.
Huh. And you did talk to her. Why don't you try something different? Why don't you fuck her doggy style? Or tell her you want to try something different that gets her moving a little bit. Like, what is it you want her to do?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just, pleasure me, give me a BJ, anything like that.
Do you ask her to suck your dick when you're in bed?
Well, yeah, I kind of, try, the 69 position. When I go into that, she'll do it. But, that's kind of more forcing it on her, but she never does it on her own.
She doesn't take the initiative. You should ask her to take the initiative. Like, tell her before, not in that moment, but beforehand. Say, hey, I'd love you to, be a little bit more forceful or whatever. It turns me on a lot, and see what she says. And if not, maybe you fucking start spanking her a little bit while you're having sex.
There's nothing wrong with a little ass play.
No, mix it up a little bit, mix it up.
I hear you. I tell you, Jimmy, I love you, man. I appreciate your advice.
Thank you. I hope it helps. That's a rough one. Good luck, buddy.
All right, take care, brother.
Okay. Let's see here. Another kind of similar question. Hi, Jerry in Oklahoma.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
Good, Jerry. How are you?
Oh, another day.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a way to, me and my wife, we've been together since high school, and we've been married going on 6 years now.
Okay.
And, it's kind of like we've lost that spice in the bedroom. And, we do fuck regularly, when I'm home and everything, but it's just like neither one of us really enjoy it anymore. So I'm kind of looking for more ways to spice it up in the bedroom or something. I don't know.
Well, what is it you want to try that you haven't? Do you guys watch porn together at all?
Well, I like to watch porn, but she's a little against it, I guess.
Well, have you told her that you want to spice things up or change things a little bit?
I've tried mentioning it, but then she just, I don't know. She gets interested in it, but then again, she gets a little bit nervous about it, too.
Well, what is it, why don't you just tell her something you want to try or just begin doing something? Because you say you're a little perverted, right? Like, what is something you really want that she doesn't?
I really want, I guess it's always been a little bit of a weird deal of mine. I've kind of been into, watching, some girl go onto her man and just take control of him and stuff and, do, tie him up, do stuff to him, whatever. I don't know how to bring that into her.
I think you could talk about it beforehand and start off slowly. Like, have you ever tied her hands?
Yeah, she likes it when I put handcuffs on her, blindfold her to a chair and everything. She likes it when I do that. So
she's a submissive and she wants you to be dominant and she doesn't want to switch?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, see if she can see if she can switch for you. Maybe she'll get into liking it. That's harder if somebody's a pure submissive, though. But most people are willing to switch. Or there's ways to get a submissive to become more dominant. That's part of what cuckolding is. Like, when you're talking about how you're going to make her, I'm not saying you're into that, but just as an example, make a girl fuck somebody in front of you. And they feel like, oh, I'm a slut, or it's dirty that you're making me do that. And then you slowly talk about how you're going to punish them if they're enjoying it. And then it starts to be where they begin taunting you with it a little bit. Like, well, if he's got a bigger dick than you, am I going to get punished if I enjoy it? And then in a way, they're being verbally dominant, but still being submissive. And this is over the course of time. So I think that's one way to bring out a dominant side in a submissive person. But I don't know what your case is, if you're into that or not. But you might want to just have to ask her beforehand, like, tie me. I want to see how it feels to be cuffed.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you might have to tell her, dude. You just got to tell her.
Yeah, I'll run it by her.
Right? You have to.
Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay, buddy. I wish I had a better answer. Let's see here, because Nathan, an alcoholic in California. Hi.
Jimmy.
Hey, bud.
Hey, so with my wife for 20 years, as soon as we had a kid, she never complained about my drinking. As soon as we had a kid, she pretty much stopped talking to me. She kicked me out of the house.
How often do you drink, buddy?
Every day.
Okay, so if you know it's an issue, you're an alcoholic, and when the kid, it probably bothered her for a long time, but when your kid was born, she couldn't ignore it because she's responsible for the kid too.
That's the truth. Now, my problem is I can't, after everything that's been done, I still am in love with her, and I can't let go of her.
Are you sober now?
Yeah.
How long?
Since last night. Today's midday.
Oh, no. I mean, are you trying to be sober in life?
I'm still drinking. I'm going to attend, and I'm going to seek help soon, but I still.
Well, when is soon? Like we as addicted people, there's always another. It's funny how we never say I'm going to get high soon, or I'm going to drink soon, or I'm going to act out sexually soon. We do that immediately. But when it comes to fixing things, well, someday when I'm ready, you're never going to wake up, dude, and go, today would be a great day to get sober. Look at what it's cost.
I've been saying it every day for probably 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's always the reason to put it off. So why don't you just take the action? Like I've said before, you're never going to think yourself into great action. you're going to have to act yourself into really good thinking. So why don't you just why don't you just begin the process of getting sober? It may or may not get her back into your life, but it's a better shot than doing nothing.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay? Good luck, man. But really give it a shot. Don't keep putting it off, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, buddy. Good luck. Hi, Kyle in Iowa.
Hey, what's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, man.
Yeah, I just had a question. I'm just starting stand-up and everything. And when you first started, were you ever hard on yourself about the jokes that you wrote and everything?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. I was awful.
Because I find myself kind of avoiding going back to do open mics now just because, I feel like what I'm writing just isn't good enough. And,
well, that's how you get better. You go on stage. You want to see a great example? Are you a Richard Pryor fan at all?
Yeah.
Did you ever see something he did? It's my favorite thing. It's called Richard Pryor Live and Smoking. It's a video from 1971. He shot it in the Improv in New York City. And he does okay on it, but he does not do amazingly well. He's bombing through a lot of it. And it came out in 1981. He did so poorly that they didn't release it. But the amazing thing to watch about that is if you're familiar with his work, in 1975, he did an album called That Nigger's Crazy. And a lot of that material wound up on that album. So when you watch this special, you see him working through that material. And it's nowhere near as good as it's going to be in a few years on the record. So it's really weird to see this brilliant wino and the junkie or these other bits being hashed out in front of an audience. Do you know what I mean? So it's a great chance to see him struggling to make this stuff work. Now, can you imagine if he stopped doing it? Like, that point is don't give up and don't let that discourage you because it did not discourage him or any other great comedians.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you for that too.
Watch that special. Watch that special, and he's uncomfortable. He's smoking. He's talking about race relations in front of a white audience, and they were not ready for him. He was Ed Sullivan, Richard Pryor to them. They were not ready for this new kind of radical, very pro-black Richard Pryor. So, when you see him working through that, it's very inspirational.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. I do have to say one thing that did help me after, bombing a couple times is always listening to older episodes of O&A with you and Voss and all of them just busting each other's balls and about each other bombing sometimes. And, and after I bombed, I laughed it off. It is funny.
It's a part of it, buddy. Sometimes. That's like a boxer getting mad because he gets punched in the face, or a UFC fighter getting mad because he gets tapped in the gym, or whatever. It's part of our job. It's a part of what you signed up for. So when you bomb, you have to realize this is partially what I'm choosing. I'm choosing something with this risk. So when you bomb, the difference between you and someone who never does comedy or never pursues it is that you're going to bomb and you perform anyway. A million people are funny, and a million people want to do stand-up. But the fact that you're willing to bomb is what makes you different. If it was a guaranteed good set every fucking time, there'd be 200,000 working comics. But it's not. So the fact that you can work through a bomb is why you're doing it and they're not.
All right, well, thank you so much, Jimmy.
Okay, good luck, man. That's great.
All right, thank you, man.
Sure. Hi, Noah. How are you? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man? You rub one out today?
No, I have not in a couple days.
Hey, man, I love you down here in Dallas, man. You need to come back. The question I wanted to ask you, man, is where do you and Opie stand, man? Are we going to hear you come October, or are you going elsewhere? You started the new podcast, and what kind of threw me for a loop is you know how you were supposed to go do Ant's show that first day he went to rehab, and something happened with, negotiations with your contract. How are those doing that podcast?
I missed the last word you said. You said after Anthony's, you said how is, and then something dropped out.
Oh yeah. So you were supposed to do Ant's show when he went to rehab.
Yes.
And you weren't able to do that.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened with that. I was supposed to host it. There's a weird clause in my contract where I'm not allowed to host other entertainment shows. I'm allowed to go on as a guest. And I did have it carved out in my contract where I could do MMA something, because I had a feeling that someday, and 2 years ago in my contract they carved out I could do an MMA podcast, and all of a sudden Dana called and it worked. But with Anthony, I didn't have it carved out. So the company, what they told me was this. They're like, dude, if we had known this in advance, we would have let you do it. But they're like, all of a sudden we're getting hit with a bunch of our guys are going to host stuff, and contractually none of you are allowed to. So I wound up going on as a guest and not as a host. That was the only difference there. And as far as my contract with Sirius, we're speaking, but I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly do not know at this point. It's certainly going to be a money issue. Money definitely counts. I mean, I'm 48 years old. Of course I'm thinking about money. And I don't know how bad the company wants to keep me or what they want to do, but, I am not at all sure what I'm going to do in October.
I think I can speak for a lot of people, man. I just want to see the group back together, you know? It's still like a black cloud over my head.
Yeah, I understand. It's a black cloud over my head too. I mean,
be back together in a room, you know. I just don't know.
Well, I between Ope and Ant, their relationship is very, again, I'm not saying they hate each other, but it's a strained relationship. I mean, a lot of people know that Anthony called in. I was not in studio. Opie had done a surprise afternoon show, and a lot of people called in. And Anthony had called in, and Ope didn't go to it. So I'm not sure if he thought Ant was going to fuck with him, or I really don't know. Opie and I never spoke about that. He never told me about it. Anthony posted about it, so I'm not giving away secrets. So I don't know why he didn't go to that call or what his thinking was in that moment. But their relationship doesn't seem any closer to being fixed. So I wouldn't hold out hope for that. But the thing you have to look at is that show lasted a lot longer than any of us thought it would have.
Right. When are you coming back to Dallas, man?
I don't know. I mean, probably next summer. I mean, no, maybe not next summer. Maybe before the end of the winter. Maybe December, January.
All right. Well, we love some Jim Norton down here, man.
Thank you for being a listener. I appreciate it. And, I really don't know where I'm going to wind up in October. Maybe I do my own show. I mean, I just don't know. I wish I had a better answer.
We'll follow you, man. We'll all follow you. So.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Man, it's good talking to you, man.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, Chuck in New York. How are you?
What's up, Jimmy? How's everything?
Hi. Good, man. How are you?
Good. I have a UFC question myself.
Sure.
I know that Rogan, his contract is up, I believe, in October as well. He says it on his podcast every now and then. And I was just wondering, do you think Dana is grooming you to maybe take over his spot by giving you Unfiltered?
Oh, God, no. No. Are you kidding me? Play-by-play, I would never even be considered for that. I have nowhere near the mixed martial arts knowledge that you need to do that well. And even guys that do. It's funny, on the podcast today, we interviewed Brian Stan, who does the Fox UFC. He's a great announcer. You got Kenny Florian is very good. There's so many guys who are really good at that. And to me, even they are not as good as Joe. So,
I agree, but you have that stand-up angle as well.
It doesn't matter. I'm funny, but on the podcast even, dude, I'm a fan of UFC. I love it. I enjoy it. But I never claimed to be an expert. I can't even answer that. Hold on a second. My fucking phone is ringing. Oh my God. Why is this happening? Who is this? I'm not going to answer it. I don't know who it is. Sorry, guys. I have a phone in here, and once in a while my fucking shitty home phone goes, oh God. I don't have enough knowledge to do that. I would do a terrible job as a play-by-play guy. I like being the funny guy with Matt Serra, and I enjoy interviewing fighters and talking to them, but I'm a fan first, dude. I appreciate that nice statement, but Rogan is I think he's the best announcer in sports. And I think if they have any choice, they are going to keep him. They'd be crazy if they purposely allow him to walk.
Oh, I agree. I love Rogan as well, but if I had to pick a number 2 guy to fill that spot, Because don't forget, Rogan had to start somewhere as well.
Yeah, but Joe was also a fighter, and he was also a very, very knowledgeable mixed martial arts guy. He understood fighting. He took jiu-jitsu. He knew so much about that sport before he announced. And as a championship level, I think Taekwondo was his sport.
It was. Yep.
Yeah, but he was a tournament fighter, dude. He could speak on fighting to fighters and training and mentality. I have none of that knowledge. So I'm funny, and that's why I'm on the UFC podcast, but I make no claims to be an expert. There's a million guys that would get that spot, and I probably wouldn't even take it if they offered it to me, simply because I know I'm not qualified to do it.
Well, I am enjoying the podcast, and thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. Yeah, today's is really funny. I love just yapping with Matt. Brian was a great guest, so thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Matt is also great on that. I wasn't sure how I was going to like him, but he cracked me up. I love how he just mispronounces everything.
Yeah, Matt's a really funny, truthful guy. He's a Long Island guy. What you see is what you get with Sarah. There's no bullshit. There's nothing pretentious about him. He's just really a great, great fucking dude. Thanks, man.
All right, keep up good work, and I'll be listening. Thanks, man.
Okay. Hi, David in New Jersey.
I think you're very talented, Jimmy. I really impressed with what you do. I'm a former Stern guy, and I've come to listen to you. But anyway, a piece of advice for you today, if I may. And I know, you've gone down this road a couple times, or other people have. I want you to end up being on the right side. And I think this guy Trump, as bad as you don't like Hillary, as much as you think she's dishonest and whatever, he is totally incapable. And just for example.
But hold on, before you finish. I don't hate Hillary Clinton. I've never said, here's what I've said. Here's what I've said. Okay. That I have my reasons for liking Trump. I've made them clear. And I said that he does not have my vote yet. Hillary is still a possibility. I'll make the decision as it gets closer and they're forced to speak more about it. But there's nothing any individual is going to say that's going to sway me. I just kind of listen to both of them and see what I like more.
Hey, just for 1 second. I mean, just the last 2 days here at the convention with Melania's speech. It would have been so simple to say, you know what, we made a mistake. Yes, you're right, etc. Instead, they deny. They can't run a campaign that he certainly could not run the White House and be the president and be the leader of the free world.
Well, feeling that way, you shouldn't vote for him, and I respect that you won't. But that's your choice. Like you don't like the way he's running. To me, that to me is not as important. Because I think the whole process is a bit irritating, and the delegates and the super delegates and the super PACs. I find all of it to be kind of crooked and fixed. And what I like about him is I think that he's an outsider who is coming into a private party, and they are all standing around in shock that he has alpha mailed the entire system. It's embarrassing for the political system, and it shows you how bad the rest of them are, that we see a guy as a breath of fresh air just because he doesn't come off like a coward like the rest of them do. That's my take on it. Your take is different.
He's not a breath of fresh air by any means, and I'm just surprised that you haven't seen it yet. But
I don't agree. I see what you see. I just don't agree with you. To me, he is. To you, he's not. It's that simple.
Okay.
All right.
So stay tuned. It'll all come down very quickly.
David, either way, David, it's going to be interesting. We're either going to have Donald Trump, a reality show billionaire, or the first female president, ex-first lady. Either way, it's an amazing fucking time to be alive. It's a very interesting time to be alive.
Fair enough. I buy that. Okay.
All right. Big kiss. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Go for Jennifer in Long Island, a woman. Hi, Jennykins.
Hey, Jim. First time, long time.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
So I wanted to give a little bit of advice to the gentleman who called saying his wife wasn't into sex anymore. You know, when women get to be a certain age, we just lose interest. We just couldn't care less about it.
Why?
I don't know. It's premenopause and then it's menopause. Our hormones take over.
You might be right in certain ways, but then you can't be mad when your man wants to go out and fuck somebody else.
No, that's exactly right. You definitely have a point.
You know, you got to expect your guy to want to go out and come. Part of being married, if you're not fucking your spouse, and I'm not saying you got to be, putting a strap on, but if you're not having sex with your spouse, either one of you, and your spouse is maintaining hygiene and, you're not having major fights all the time, I think you're being a very shitty spouse who is not doing your part. Because sex is a part of it. And I think that everyone has a right to expect to get laid once in a while when they're married. And if that person's not going to do it, then you should go out and fuck someone else.
And as my mother always says, by the time you say no, you could get it over with.
I like the way your mom thinks. Jesus. Well, your dad must have been a quick lay. Good for your mom. By the time you sneeze, he's come twice and he's putting his hat on. All right, good advice from mom.
Here's your hat. What's your hurry?
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
have a great day. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
All right, thank you. Very sweet. Let's see here. Greg in New York. Hello, Greg.
Jim. Hi, Jim. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I'm going to UFC. And I'm going to UFC in Cleveland, so hopefully you'll be there too. And if the stars align, maybe I get a picture with you.
When is that, to be honest?
That is September. I want to say it's around the 12th, around there, I think.
Okay.
It's a UFC 202 or 203. I think it's 203.
Okay. I think I'll be I may be in Australia at that time. I'm not sure. But,
okay, I'm making the 5.5 hour drive just to see CM Punk fight. So.
Oh yeah, you should. I would too. I really love him. I like him a lot as a person too. So I hope he does well.
I dropped $200 on my ticket, so sure as fuck I'm going. But okay. I called you a few months ago. I ended up getting I went to medical school and now I'm starting residency. But if you just rewind a few years, I dated this girl that I met from my hometown, and we kept it up through maybe like the first 3 years of medical school. And I went overseas, but we kept it up for about 3 years. And it was really serious, and so serious where like I took her virginity and all that. Okay. About maybe like halfway through my medical school, or like 3/4 of the way through, we just grew apart. Nothing really happened, and blah blah blah, whatever. And then fast forward to yesterday, I'm showing up for my rotation in the morning, and she was a nursing student back then. And when I was showing up onto the hospital ward to meet with my attending, she says to me, "Hey, Greg," and I look at her, and like I turned completely white because it was her, and she looked white when she saw me, and I see her now, and like we started to talk. And, like, I wanted to ask her, like, hey, what the fuck happened? Like, never, I tried to get in touch with you. I tried searching for you on the internet and, like, nothing. Like, what happened? I didn't have that chance because I noticed she's, like, fucking 9 months pregnant, and she says she's with her third child.
Oh, my God.
And she's married. And she's married now. And, like, it's just really weird, man, because it was, like, we loved each other, but it was, like, she had her things going on at the time. I had a father who was severely ill where, like, he ended up, like, a few months after her and I stopped speaking. My dad passed away. There was a lot of stuff going on. So now she's here. She's back home. She's working as a nurse, and I'm going to be there as well. But, like, I have to, like, see her, like, at some point over the next 3 years, like, habitually, because, like, I have to work in that ward sometimes, and she's going to be there, too. And it's, it's like, I'm not going to lie, like, I know I'm rambling right now, except as soon as that was over, as soon as I saw her, that ruined my whole fucking day. And, like, I came home at the end of my day, like, at 7 o'clock at night after a 12-hour deal. Like, I had to have a couple stiff drinks because, like, that just fucked with me. Like, and it's not like I'm not like this over women at all. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was like the fact that we had something and then it ended. And now all of a sudden she's here and I have to look at her for the next at least 3 years. And it's like I just don't know how to get over, like, how it happened, because when she saw me too, she was getting a little emotional, but she was hiding it too. Do you know what I'm saying? Because there were people around.
Well, it's one of those things. Look, seeing an ex is always an experience. What could have been, it takes us back to another time, blah, blah, blah. It happens to all of us, unless the relationship ended horribly. But, you know, again, she's married, dude, and she's got 3 kids, or 2 kids, and she has a baby in her. Like, who the fuck wants to walk into that situation? Like, yeah, it's almost like, you know, it's like saying, you know, I had a car at one point, a brand new car, not to compare her to a car, but, you know, and then I all of a sudden I had so many nice memories in it, and then I see it a few years later and there's a family who owns it, and there's kids shit all over and a baby seat in the back. It's not the same vehicle. That's the way it is in a relationship. When you two parted, you were one way in life, and now you're another way. So you don't have to grieve the past because it would be different now. You're not going to go back to that point in your life when it was freer and easier. You know, you're going to pick up in the middle of a mess and maybe a divorce or a jealous husband with a shotgun. I would stay the fuck away from that.
So then, like, I'm going to be seeing her then. So how do I, like, because, like, usually you have to interact with the nurses and whoever the patients that you have are. Do I maintain a normal conversation with her about everything other than...
Well, let me ask you.
Between you and me, I kind of want some closure on this whole deal. Do you know what I'm saying?
You don't need closure. I understand. The word closure is very overrated. At times it does help us. But closure, she's married with children. The end. Closure is a way of saying, I would like to hear a certain thing from this person. I would love further contact with this person. I would love to try to rekindle with this person. Or there's always something we want when we say we want closure. And I think a lot of times closure is very overrated, and we get it, and we just don't like what it is. Like when someone is married with 3 children, that's closure. But we don't like that because that's not as satisfying. How much do you weigh? I'm asking you for a reason.
Me, how much do I weigh?
Yeah,
I'm like around 210, somewhere around there.
Okay, so are you a big guy now? Do you eat? I was going to ask you this. I should ask you the other way. What's your favorite dessert?
I don't have dessert. I lost a whole shitload of weight, and I've just been hitting the weights hard. So like,
okay, so you've been working hard. What's the hardest food for you to stay away from?
Fucking ice cream or pizza.
Okay. So when you see ice cream or pizza, or when you walk by, do you eat it every single time you see it? Or do you avoid it? Because because you know it's bad for you. You know it's injuring you. It's damaging. So like that's the same way it is for me. There was cupcakes in the studio today. I wanted to shove every one of them onto my dick and then into my face. But I can't because I know it's bad. There's people who are fucking bad for us. And look, a relationship that ended and now someone is married with kids is dangerous. That's a dangerous fucking thing. So look at it like, I cannot have this. I have got to just be honest with her and be a friend to her and go, hey, you know, whatever. You don't have to talk about that stuff. You can just talk about other stuff. And if you start feeling a little emotional, realize that will change. You'll get used to her.
Yeah. It's just because, you know what, though? Like, I never had this before because she was a girl that, like, I really, really loved. And then it was like, it just evaporated. It didn't even break up. It just evaporated. And then now all of a sudden, like, she was the last person I ever thought I would see. And now she's here. So it's
How long did you date her for? How long did you date her for?
Like 3.5 years.
Okay. And then it ended. Things end.
Yeah, no.
It happens.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let me ask you then, Jimmy, real quick. Now, to counter that, I met, a smoking hot Russian girl who just turned 19. She gave me her phone number. I'm 30. I'm going to be 36 in August. Do I just fucking do it? Go for it?
Of course you do. Why not?
The age difference. Fuck
Who
the
cares?
age difference.
Yeah, she's old enough to go to Afghanistan and fight. She's fine.
Fair enough. Sounds good.
As long as emotionally you like her and you can talk to her, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, she's good. She seems like a good girl, and like I got her phone number and all this other stuff. She's really beautiful, so yeah, so whatever. So yeah, fuck all that then. Sounds good. All right then, Jimmy.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for the call. Hey, Jose with the anger issues. Hello, Jose.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm good, buddy.
Like I was telling the screen, it's not like I'm a super angry guy or anything like that, but I kind of, when I listen to you talk about your anger issues and like frustration and whatnot, it kind of strikes a nerve for me. Like it kind of says, you know what? Yeah, I wonder. So I'm wondering, is like, do you do anything for it? Have you found anything to help you out? Like, let me give you, for instance, I had 3 kids. I'm super happy with my wife. I love her. I've known her for forever. My job is a little frustrating sometimes. I make a good living, but you know what? You always, well, just like anything, the grass is always green on the other side, like they say. But like you feel like you might not be as fulfilled as you could be. So you get frustrated and whatnot, but I'm curious to see if you have, if you've found any exercises or any mental exercises that you can do, or if you've spoken to anybody about like.
Sorry, buddy. One thing that does help. Sometimes I have to remember how much anger ruins my day. Like when I can remember how bad this is going to make me feel for hours and hours. Tony Robbins talked about that, and he made some really good sense with it. You know, when I'm catching myself, like, it's not worth it. This moment you're feeling is only going to feed on itself, and you're going to destroy your whole day. It's not worth it. Or sometimes being grateful. Because a lot of times when I'm angry, I really am. Tony asked us this, but it's true. I'm thinking about stuff I don't have, or that I don't get, or that I'm not good at, instead of looking at all the great things in my life. I have a nice apartment. I have, family is alive and healthy. I have a lot of friends. I'm in my dream job. For as much as I bitch, and life is not perfect, and my career is not perfect, I'm in a dream job. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I got it. And yet there's still that part of me that will be miserable and unhappy. So trying to put that into focus and going, hey, stupid, you got what you wanted in life. Most people are not that fortunate. That helps.
Like sorry, Jim, even like how you handled the other caller when you were talking about Trump and everything, that was really good. And like, you were like calm and you're like, hey, listen, you feel this way, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's hard to even do that for me sometimes.
Well, my anger with that stuff has poisoned me so much. Like, I've changed with that stuff because I realized after time and time again, I've talked about this, what I was looking for was the amazing moment where I make it clear to everyone and they get it. And that moment never comes because everyone is as convinced they are correct. Like, almost, I'm never going to have that moment where all of a sudden everyone light bulb goes off and they go, oh my God, Jim Norton's correct. So why get mad about it? And people I admire don't. I admire Louis in the way he handles conflict. Or Patton Oswalt, they handle it really intelligently. And I think that makes you a better and funnier person because you have to be able to see somebody else's point of view. And people are usually not 100% wrong or 100% right. So I don't want to get caught in that trap of being an angry old man. I don't want to be the guy who's always, the fucking liberals, those fucking religious conservatives. I don't want to be that guy. I'm trying not to be. So you got to train yourself to not always react the same way,
All right, and you haven't seen it. It's just something you kind of came with a realization by yourself.
Well, yeah, I'm sober a long time, and I've heard so many things. I just people talking, and you pick up a little bit and a little there, and then I just kind of see what my own experience teaches me.
I mean, I'm trying to. I'm 41 years old. I still, and I'm much better than I was, but for sure. But, you start learning a little bit more and more. And I'm just curious, like, you seem to have been, like, acknowledged that in yourself. And, I don't know if you have any, I guess there's no secret to it, right? You just kind of got to do it. And
yeah, you got to do it. It's like a muscle you train. There's a guy who was sober for a long time. And his name was Brush. The real name was Jim. But he would always talk about, like, did anger ever serve me well? Like, I remember him saying that. He'd be in, 12-step meetings going, did anger ever serve me well? Like, did it make my mother smile? Did it make her frown? Like, he would go through all these things, and anger never serves me well. It doesn't. Even fighters in battles will say that anger can get in the way. You're better off not being emotional and thinking. So very, very rarely. We all react angrily, but I have to be careful of it because I am not equipped to handle it properly. It just eats at me, okay?
All right. Do you see a therapist or anything? Because I always wanted to thinking about doing it.
I have, but I stopped. I just didn't. I want to go back. I just wanted a break.
Okay.
All right,
man. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Good luck, buddy. Let's see here. Doug in New Jersey. Good question. Hello? Doug, I don't know where you are, buddy.
Hey.
Oh, hey. What's up?
Sorry about that. So, by the way, happy belated.
Thank you, pal.
You're welcome. So, my wife and I recently had I guess I'll call it an accidental three-way.
That's vulgar. Well, what were you doing?
We were just hanging out at our house with a friend of hers, female friend, and start talking, getting drunk, doing a little bit of drugs here and there, and then all of a sudden we just had a three-way. She was commenting on how pretty sure my wife was, and just one thing, they've known each other for about 2 years, I guess, so they're pretty comfortable, and then they just started going at it, and I joined in, and it was really nice, but it was kind of just organic and accidental. I wanted to know how to...
Well, you might want to mention it to your wife.
Oh, no, she's on board. She's already on board.
Well, then see if she can do it with... Sorry, guys, the phone's ringing again. I forgot to take it off the hook. Watch it be a girl outside my door who wants to blow me, and I just don't answer the phone. I just want to suck your dick. I can hear you talking in there. So, if your wife's on board and you're on board, why doesn't your wife just talk to her?
No, with somebody else, not with the same girl, with somebody else. I'm wondering, like, how do you do that on purpose, like, in the future? I've never had that conversation with anybody.
Well, I very rarely have had them. I've always been pretty open. I would say literally just say to your wife, I want to do this again. Do you think your wife wants to do it again?
Oh, she definitely does.
And what's the holdup? Like, why won't she just ask the friend? She doesn't know how to do it?
Yeah, she's a little uncomfortable answering the friend, and then there's another friend of hers that she thinks is attractive, and I think the friend's throwing out the same vibes, and she just feels she's very shy. So
Well, how about this? Why don't you just hang out again with that person? Don't mention it. Just hang out.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, dude, just hang out and see if it happens again. When you say, "Hey, let's hang out again," you don't have to talk it over. Hey, would you like to come over and lick her vagina again? Why not just hang out and see what's up?
Okay.
Okay?
All right, buddy, thanks.
All right, good luck, man. That's a big one. I hope that works out. Dave in Toronto, hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you, sir?
I'm good, buddy. Thank you.
I want to start with a couple quick points. I love the way that Bobby Kelly gets annoyed at your characters. It makes my fucking day.
Yeah, I do too. Bobby is so funny with that stuff.
And just to the previous caller, the other previous caller, but the anger issues. Did you think you noticed a difference when you started getting healthier, where you're less angry?
Yes, yeah, because it helps you examine the evidence more. The healthier you get mentally, and physically too, because I felt a little better about myself, if that's what you're talking about. And I have to wrap up in 1 minute. I apologize. A, I have a plane to catch, and B, it's just time to wrap up because the show's over. So, yeah, I think getting healthier absolutely helped me, man. Because I felt better about myself. I wasn't always in a negative space. You know what I mean? I just felt my self-esteem was a little bit better. But that's a good point.
And on that, for the reason for my call is that I just want to thank you, Jim, because I'm a big guy. I used to be 310. I'm 6'4", but with you guys talking about the sugar, and I watched Fed Up and Sugar Coated and all this stuff. I've taken sugar out of my diet. I've lost 20 pounds so far, and so I really want to thank you for turning me on to that. So
excellent. Happy to hear that. Congratulations, man. That's really good to know.
Thanks, Jimmy. Have a good day.
Okay, buddy. Take care. All right, guys, I got to wrap up. I appreciate it, and thanks, Lou, for helping, and thank you to everybody. I'm trying to shut down my fucking stuff, and my computer won't turn off, so I may be here longer than we thought. All right, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Back with Uppy. See me tonight in Columbus. Tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On SiriusXM is real.